Hey everyone, welcome back. We're here in the garage today. We're just playing with the pickup a little bit. A couple little things we got to work on. We got a valve cover leak. I do want to put a bigger radiator in this. The plan is later to put a big block in here, the stroker we were talking about, the 512. That was the 400 we were working on in the last video. So that is the plan down the road, but we're still going to run the small block for this season. There's a few things suspension-wise I want to do. There is this Viking coilover kit, so I think that's in the plan. So we need more front end adjustment at the racetrack. Right now, it's just got a normal spring in it. It's got a 90-10 Calvert shock, and that's pretty much it. I mean, everything's loosened up. The truck moves fairly easy, but it comes up easy, but it also goes down easy, and you'll see in some of our videos when we launch, it takes off, kind of dips down and kind of unloads the back tires, then hooks up and it kind of bounces up and down a bit, so it's something we want to be able to control. I'm not sure which radiator we're going to get yet. I was trying to look at one that would be good for the small block, but it's also going to work for the big block as well. So just something that's big enough and that's going to keep it cool. Because I do want to do no prep races with the truck, and it's going to need to stay cool for that, because a couple of them, I know you have to do a bit of a drive beforehand. And the way it is now, this radiator is a bit too small. With these electric fans that are on here, it just doesn't keep it quite cool enough. So I think I might just switch these fans to the other side and use them as a blower and put a clutch fan back on it. Because it doesn't have any mechanical fan on it right now at all. And these just don't seem to push the CFM that they say they do. And then, I'll get this gasket sorted out. And we will have to change the oil before we race it again. So those are most of the plans for the front end stuff. If you guys know of any radiators that would be a good option, I was probably going to get a Champion. Maybe for a big block B body, maybe it would be a similar size, width-wise anyway. I should have lots of radiator options. So if you guys know of any, let me know. Yeah, so we'll just get this valve cover popped off here. Of course, we do have the nitrous line and the fetal line are kind of in the way there, but they should just swing up out of the way. These are just the eBay valve covers. I'm sure when I take it off, you'll be able to tell why it was leaking. I'll show you guys when I got it on the bench. They do have an O-ring on these long bolts for these valve covers, just so the oil doesn't kind of wick its way up the stud and then find its way out the end of the bolt. I think I did tear one of the O-rings. At one point, I'm sure that was part of the issue, leaking. But now that that's not the issue, it's dripping down here onto the header. It's not a crazy leak or anything, but it's enough that it's annoying, and it doesn't smell great when you're driving, and you can smell the oil burning off the header. Back wires are going to be in the way, of course. There's your valve cover off. I'll show you guys these valve covers here once they're on the bench. The boot is sliding off. I should get a better set of wires here. These are not the best. I can kind of see right here there's oil sitting right on top. So here's our valve cover here on the bench. This is where it was leaking here. I don't really see, I can see the edge where it was sitting on the head, but I don't really see any reason why it would be leaking, but it definitely is. So know how easy this is going to be to get off. We glued it on pretty good because this, like I said, these are just the cheap eBay valve covers. When I had them on the bench, on the flat surface, they would rock back and forth. Like, they're not perfectly flat. That was part of the issue in the first place. I don't really want to put silicone on this and put it back on. I'd rather just replace this gasket and throw a new one on. So I think that's my plan here anyway. As you can see the wet spot where the oil was getting past the gasket there. So we can just slip this valve cover back in the way it came off. I did use silicone from the gasket to the valve cover because there's on these valve covers. I'm not a fan of these, to be honest. They don't stick. Well, they don't have the tabs like the stock valve covers have, so they don't. It makes it hard to center them. So they'll sit in the right spot for the bolts to line up to the head. So the gasket's kind of glued on there. At least you know it's not going to move around on you when you're putting the valve cover back on. And that way, if you have to adjust your valves and you take the valve cover off again, usually it comes off easy, and then it stays stuck on your valve cover still. You can just pop it back on. We did adjust the valves before one of the last races, and I don't know. I think that may be where the leak started. I don't know if it was quite positioned on the head quite right. It might have been off just a little bit. I really don't want to over tighten these. They're just into very small bolt, just into aluminum. So you can always run it for a little bit and then check them again. And hopefully that stopped our leak. Should have. I don't see why it wouldn't. I just wanted to show you guys a couple quick things with the suspension right now. So it's just got the van lower control arms. I ordered those off Rock Auto. They were in stock at the time. I'm not sure if they still are. Last time I looked, they were not. But I have these bars, the stabilizer bar. Me and a friend of mine, we came up with a design with a Heim joint for the front. So that's something I want to do when we do the coilover setup for this, is get those bars on there. And hopefully the front suspension will be really free and we'll have lots of adjustment, and then I can put a proper bump stop on it. But that's how we got to sit the way it does right now. I do have a manual box for it. This is a power steering box. The line just looped. And it's got two fittings, and I just covered it up to kind of make it look a little bit cleaner. So here's this. I'm going to get rid of all this wiring for these fans. Whether I just take the fans off and just run the mechanical, or switch these to the other side. Either way, this needs to be tidied up. And well, we're done working on the truck here for now. We just got the valve cover. We got the valve cover leak fixed, and that was the most important thing I wanted to get done today. We do need a new battery. This battery, it will start. It's just a really lazy battery. It's not something I want to take to the track again. So we'll get a new battery. We'll do. I do want to get a new small tire for the back and stretch them under the 12-inch wide rims, and then we can do some no prep racing as well. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.